Alrighty, hello guys. Got some Devpro Duels here for you, and if you read the title, it is of Constellars. And yeah, I always liked Constellars. I used to play it back before like Cost was out, and that was way back in the day because like all the cards are OCG, but like half the cards weren't even out yet to make the deck good. And I was playing like, that Shiat, the level 1 guy, and then I was playing like one of the level 6 one. And I was making it work pretty good by abusing that star chart. Not the one that lets you draw one, the one that lets you add two from your deck, or your hand, or from your graveyard, sorry. But yeah, I was doing that plus like threatening roars and whatnot, and I was trying to make it good, but yeah, I ended up giving up on it a long time ago. And then the new cards came out with Sombres, and I'm not sure when Cost came out in Pollux, but when I was playing it, those two weren't out either. So it was pretty hard to make this deck, and yeah. But anyways, we're gonna hop into it. Yeah, like halfway through, I ended up like changing the build a little bit because I took out Sheraton. I don't really like Sheraton because he's just not that great. Because I'm playing card cars and I feel like it does the same thing, except card car is usually the one I want to go for more often. So yeah, alright, so we're gonna hop into the first one. It's me playing Constellars versus him playing Elemental Dragons. You always gotta start it off strong with the Elemental Dragons. So yeah, so I'm just gonna summon the cost through the Algidi and then get out Pleiades because Pleiades is the best card in this deck. And yeah, so I'm gonna end up setting two back row and then he's gonna be sitting there doing his Elemental Dragon stuff. And yeah, he plays Red Eyes in his build, which really the big builds don't really play that anymore, which yeah, it's pretty obvious why. It's not very good. Like, it's good and all, it's just not good enough, I guess. But yeah, because and all that stuff, I got lost. But yeah, I don't really like Red Eyes in that build. If I was to play it, I wouldn't play that card. And I looked through his deck a little bit, and he's actually playing the Lad and Eclipse Wyvern, which the big builds aren't playing anymore. But yeah, so I'm going to end up summoning Bear and attacking directly, getting the tanky and adding cost because that's a good thing. And he top decks the Reborn, which is like, wow, that's just great. So he's just going to attack over my Bear. Now sitting pretty until that happened. But the good thing is his graveyard's pretty much exhausted except for the Scrap Dragon. So I'm going to be forced to just throw an Honest at him. And yeah, then I set the Lance and hope that he doesn't get anything, but it's Elemental Dragons. So of course he'll get something, but luckily he didn't get a better Elemental Dragon. He got the Wind one, which he already was going to add. So he couldn't add another card, but sucks to be him. But then I top deck the Reborn and go to poke for game, and yeah, there's not much you can do about that because he was about to lose because I was going to go Cowboy immediately after, if that wasn't enough already. So we're going to hop into the next game in a moment. Alrighty, so this one is against Evil Swarm, which is arguably like the opposite of Constellars because there's a dark version pretty much. But Evil Swarms have a lot bigger impact on the meta because, yeah, E-Dragons are a thing. But yeah, first turn I'm going to activate Maxi because I didn't want him to add with, or I didn't want him to make Ophion, but he did. And for whatever, God knows why reason, he decided not to add with Ophion, which I'm still baffled on why he did that. But he gets a rabbit, which is amazing because, yeah, kind of stops me right in my tracks because I have to waste my Fiendish Chain on it. But whatever, it's a pretty good Fiendish Chain, I suppose. So I'm going to end up using Algidi, and yeah, he's going to compulse this rabbit back to his hand, try to, but I chain the Lance, and yeah, and then he Torrentials me, which sucks, but it's okay. But he can't do anything with that rabbit, so it's just sitting there still. But yeah, I draw a Torrential, which is okay because I'm definitely going to need it against this Kirkion. He's getting a lot better top decks than me at this point, but yeah, I draw a Lance, which isn't very useful. And then he draws that random Infestation card. And yes, I'm going to summon the cost because why not, but he's going to warning me, which is sad, but I have like a 6,000 life points advantage on him at this point, so it's alright. And then he draws a Maxi. I'm not completely sure why he's playing Maxi, since Evil Swarms kind of stop you anyways. But I don't know, if I made it I probably would play it too. But he's going to top deck another Cerceon, which is pretty sad because it's like the Sombres for me, but I haven't drawn a single Sombres. But yeah, he's going to go for Bahamut randomly. I'm not sure why he did that, but I mean, Ophion probably would have been better, but yeah. He's going to max Z because he realizes he lost and just showing off his cards, really. So I'm just going to pop and then poke for game. And yeah, there goes the Evil Swarm player. And yeah, I won that pretty confidently, I think. And we're going to go ahead and hop into another game. Right, me. Alrighty, so this one is randomly against Ojamas, but he did a pretty decent job running his Ojamas. Through a little bit of luck, but that's alright. So I'm going to end up activating Tanky, getting a cost, and then trying to make card D apparently. I thought I went into Pleiades, but instead I just summoned Cardcar and drove 2. And this was one of the builds where I was playing Sheraton, but I ended up taking it out because, as you'll see, this card sits dead in my hand for a really long time. But that's alright. So I'm going to reborn the cost because I thought, I can just attack over that thing and then be good with it. I didn't know what it was. I don't think I knew I was playing Ojamas yet, but no, it wasn't. So then he's going to Pro Set the Heavy Storm on me, which really was unfortunate because there was not much I could do about it. And yeah, he's going to be sitting there doing his Ojama derping stuff. And I did not realize that the blue was going to be special summoned, or I would have activated Max C earlier. But yeah, he's doing his Ojama thing, which is what makes him pretty decent, like if you can get him off, because the Gachis end up being a really strong attacker, especially if you get a couple of them, which is very easy to do in that deck. But yeah, I'm going to end up doing my Sombre play because I like Sombre. And yeah, I'm going to end up going for Pleiades this time, I know, because yeah, I need to get rid of those Gachis really quickly. So yeah, just got rid of a Gachi, and then I set 3 back row because he already wasted his Heavy Storm, so I'm going to punish him for wasting it so early. So yeah, he's going to end up trying to attack with Gachi, and I just bounce it back. Then he's going to go for another Gachi, which is alright with me because I have another Compulse. And yeah, I still like Compulse and Constellars because sometimes you can't get out Pleiades very easily. And yeah, some Compulse helps you out a lot. But he's going to try to bomb list the Sombre, but I'm like, no, with the Lance. And then I have enough here to where he's pretty much convinced that he can't get out of it. He had a Trag, which means he could have made like another Gachi or like Dark Mist probably, since he had the field spell, but yeah, he scooped, and I had a nice little field advantage, plus the Maxi, so I felt pretty confident. So we're going to hop into the next game. Okay, so after a little bit of brief editing, since Devpro decided to crash on me, I told you that I was playing up against Malefic Skill Drain on this one, but yeah, I am exactly playing up against Malefic Skill Drain. So he ends up doing his gear count stuff, and I don't think I'm going to get many draws off of that deck, so I'm just going to use Maxi, and he decides to push harder by specially summoning the Stardust because he can protect his Necro Valley, but I'm just going to say no to that. But he's going to Skill Drain, and I'm going to chain the Lance because then my effect would go through. But then he's going to Compulse the Bear thinking that would stop the effect, but it does not because it's inside of my hand now and not on the field, so Skill Drain does not affect it. But he's going to summon his Malefic Cyber because he thinks he can push for 7,000 damage, but I'm just going to punish him by using Torrential, and then after that resolves, activates Vanity's Emptiness so he can't special summon it again. So yeah, this was a pretty back and forth duel at this point. So he's going to draw a Heavy Storm, but he's not going to use it yet. But I'm just going to sit there and poke with cost. But I'm going to summon the Bear on board too, because I think this is just going to be a game of me trying to poke as hard as I can. So that's what I'm doing. And I got double Compulse set, so I'm not scared of much. But he's going to Heavy Storm, and then I'm going to Compulse back the Bear. So he realizes that he's pretty much lost at this point, because he lost his field spell, and Malefic Cyber End is not a level 8, like his trade-in requires. So he does not have any more plays, and that's game. So that was pretty fun because, we had like a chain 5 against these 2 slow decks, and then, yeah, stuff went back and forth pretty quickly. So yeah, we're going to hop into another game right meow. Alrighty, this one is against 6 Samurai, and both of us make a misplay, but I'm not sure how much it affected the game. But yeah, I'm just going to set one and then summon the Cardcar. And once again, you see the Sheraton is pretty dead in my hand, so I don't really like it. But if like real life, if you can't afford card cards, I would definitely recommend Sheraton over him. But yeah, he's going to use his Shien and make all that shit. And yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. I did run triple Maxi, but I did not get any of them. So that's okay. But then this is where I make the misplay. I waste the Fiendish Chain because my plan was to crash into it with Forbidden Lance. But then I realized I can just do this and make Paladomino and then attack over the Shien, which was pretty dumb on my part, but it's okay. So yeah, he's going to summon his Kaigeki, and I'm going to chain the Emptiness because I don't want him to be able to make another like Barkion or something. Well, he can't, but I don't want to make I don't want to let him make anything or special summon anymore. But then he makes his misplay by crashing a Keyzon into me because he thought he was still at 2100, which he was not. But yeah, I'm going to summon the Bear and then attack over the Kaigeki, and then end up adding a cost, and then I can add Pollux with the Sheraton if I do decide to. But yeah, he's going to equip, Spirit of the 6 Samurai to Keyzon, and then try to stop me. But he did MST my Tanky, which was actually the appropriate play, because I would have reborned and then popped his Keyzon with Bear, and that would have been game. But as you can see, I just summon cost, attack over with Paladomino, and then attack directly for game. So yeah, he's playing that weird Yachi one. I don't know why he's playing it, but the rest of his build seemed pretty decent. So yeah. So we're going to hop into another game. Alrighty, so this one is against the I think it's 3-axis Fire Fist. I don't really understand what's the difference between 3 and 4. I know they run different cards, I just don't know which one classifies as 3 and which one classifies as 4-axis. But this one's against the one with the chicken and whatnot, the OCG build, which is actually really goddamn good, and yeah, the deck's not very fair since it has so many plays that it can do. It just gives it such an advantage, and I would have been a lot better off if I didn't have to run into all this back row, which is really unfortunate, but ends up summoning his bear and attacking me directly since he could just get right through my monsters, which was very unfortunate for me. But he's going to end up adding the panther or leopard, whichever one it is, which is a really good one, but I'm going to end up dark holing his bear because I was scared of that Tensen. I didn't know he had it, but I figured he did. So yeah, but then he draws the Tensu, which what makes his deck really good. Oh, I mean, he added one anyways. But yeah, he's going to end up summoning the chicken, I think is the good one. No, spirit. There's chicken. Chicken is the really ridiculous one because it lets you recycle your tankies and whatnot. Which, yeah, I'm pretty much getting derped on pretty hard by the silly little Fire Fists. And yeah, I'm definitely not looking forward for this deck to come out since E-Dragons and Spellbooks are going to get hit pretty hard by the ban list. So this deck's probably going to get off scotch-free unless Tanky gets hit to like 2. But yeah, this deck's going to be ridiculous. So yeah, I ended up making Tears because I was scared of, you know, more back row, so I ended up making that, and I was thinking I could get away with it. But he had another Tensu, which allows him to finish me off because he has the Cardinal Commander, or whatever it is, because that deck is really ridiculous and has so many plays that it can make that card and then recycle 2 of its cards and then put 2 of mine back to my deck. Like, that's an extremely fair card there. And I even had the advantage, well, he had more cards than me, but I felt like I had more field presence than he did, which means I probably should have won, but he had another Tensu, which is ridiculous, so I lost that one. But we're going to go and hop into another game. Well, I didn't feel like I misplayed any there, and if I could have gotten out of that, tell me in the comments, that would be nice, but whatever. So we're going to go and hop into another game. Alrighty, so this one is against Dark World. This guy said he was pretty new to the game, and it was a little bit obvious by the way. He didn't really play that bad, but his deck is a little less than stellar. Haha, puns with Constellars, but yeah, I'm going to end up using card first turn, and I don't know what I'm playing against, and that's the card that I saw that wasn't very good because he's playing the Gateway to the Dark World, which isn't very good, but yeah, I like my hand, so I keep on discarding what he keeps giving me, but I don't think I'm going to get much out of the Max C with against Dark World, so yeah, I'm just going to use Max C and draw one, so that's good, and then I'm going to activate Tanky, add cost, and then summon Pollux, summon cost, and make Volcasaurus because I want to try to get rid of this, his field very quickly. And I have warning to back up my play, so that's good, and I'm going to poke him directly after dealing, what, 5,300 damage in one turn? Yeah, Volcasaurus is a pretty good card, I heard. But yeah, he's ended up doing his tour guide shenanigans, and he makes Acid Golem, which was questionable, but then he goes for Drag Down in the Grave without any Dark Worlds, which is extremely questionable, and that was the one play I didn't really like that he did. But he was pretty new to this game, so gave him a little credit there. He played the deck really well, or decent anyways. But yeah, he's going to end up mind crushing my cost when I try to summon it, but I ended up having another Constellar in my hand, so I felt pretty good. But I had a Vanity's Emptiness, which I just tech as a 1, because you can bounce it back to your hand with Pleiades and then use it again next turn. Like, if you got Heavy Storm or something and bounce it back to your hand without it being destroyed by its own effect or Heavy Storm's effect. So that's really good, so I kind of like it. You'll see later on that I think I get it off more often. But yeah, we're going to go and hop into, I think I have 2 more games, or 1, I'm not sure. You'll find out in a second though, so we'll hop in. Alrighty, so here's another game. It's against Hazy Flames, and yeah, this, I don't know, this build was a little weird of his, but that's what you get on Devpro. So I just set 2 because I don't have much, and I don't want to use the Tanky because I want to have a good play next turn with like Bear, since I can add Bear, pop, and then add another card, or get another Tanky and then add next turn. Which is what I proceed to do, because I'm going to pop his card and then attack directly. And I hit that silly little card that lets you add a 200 defender, which is pretty much every Hazy Flame, so there you go. And then he's going to use card destruction, which is very unfortunate, but he's going to chain his MST after I chain my Max C, and he's going to hit my Tanky. And then he's going to draw another MST and hit my warning, which is very unfortunate. And then, yeah, he's going to get a Cerberus. And I don't completely understand this card, because it says when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add one. I don't know if it missed timing with Bear or just doesn't get it when it's destroyed by battle or what, but he didn't get the effect, or maybe he just hit no. I don't know. But he's going to call spell cards off of his Sphinx, I think. Yeah, and he got really lucky by hitting it because I think that deck's mostly monsters. But yeah, I ended up having Solemn Judgment as Reborn because that card would be very good, and I didn't want to use the Max C because I didn't think it would help out too much. But I do run Cowboy in the extra deck, but it's not enough at this point, obviously. So I'm just going to end up going for a Pleiades, and then I still have a option for Cowboy soon, I think. So yeah, he's going to draw a Hazy Pillar, which he didn't really need to use, but he did anyways. But then he calls Spell Card, so I chained the Max C because that's the card I was waiting for. And then he does mill a Griffin, which is a monster, of course. But yeah, I'm just going to attack, 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 and he loses, so that's a game. And we're going to want to hop into the next game. The next game was pretty interesting because I'm going against Lavals, and Lavals do not like Max Z. That's why I played 3 of them, plus it hurts the meta, decks, which is good. So yeah, we're going to hop into it. Right meow. So we're going to load it up and go into it. So as you can see, he's playing like the really good version, I don't know, good version, but he's playing the non-noob version. But yeah, I'm going to use Max C, and he's going to get House Rekindling, and I heard Lavals do not like Max C. So he's going to end up Quasaring me because he has Boost Warrior, as you can see, and then he gets to draw 2, which means he draws into his Magical Mallet, and then he's going to put everything back except for the Heavy Storm. But I have so many cards in my hand that I hope I would be able to get out of it, which I will be able to, because I'm going to go for, what's it called? That one guy, Pleiades. So yeah, I'll have plays with my 5/4 back row. Now, I didn't see what is this card? Battle Watts. Oh, he just gets tokens apparently. But yeah, he's gonna try to he gives up on he tries to negate Fiendish Chain, and then I bounce it back with Pleiades, which wasn't very smart on his part. And I was hoping he didn't have a Heavy Storm, but I figured he did since that was the only card he did. Or I figured he didn't put one card back, which I figured would probably be that Heavy Storm, since that's a very good card. But yeah, I'm just going to summon Honest because I have such advantage at this point. I want to hurry up and get the game over with before he gets another Rekindling. But he has a Gores, which is sad, but it's okay. So I'm going to bounce the Honest back to my hand and then bounce his token because I can destroy it. And then I can overlay a Messenger 7, and that stops him. So I'm going to activate Compulse on my cost to save it from Dark Cold, and then I'm going to activate Lance on my M7 to save that as well. And he's going to use Rekindling, but I have another Max C. So that's good, and I let him go through with his play here, but he's going to try to bounce the cards back to my hand, so I'm just going to Torrential and stop him right there. So yeah, you can see that I've pretty much won this game, because he only has one card in hand, and I have, what, 7? Yeah, so good luck there. So I'm just going to make another Pleiades and then set the Compulsory, because yeah, I heard those 2 cards are pretty good, and yeah. Alright, so we're going to hop into the deck profile here as soon as this game's over, of course. But, oh, I forgot he has a Fader. He's going to prolong it even more. So that's just great. So we'll wait for him to finish up here. He doesn't decide to activate the Dark World Dealing. I guess he figured it's game, so he gave up. So I'm just going to use some cards here and continue playing. And then I'm just going to make Guy the Thunder Charger because that kills Fader and finishes off the game. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off with the deck profile. And yeah, I'll see you there. Alrighty, so here's the deck profile. As you can see, I took out the Sheratons about halfway through with those duels, and this is what I ended up doing. I ended up putting in a Torrential and Solemn Judgment back in. So yeah, so we're going to hop into it. Triple cost because he's the one that makes your level 5 plays accessible, and it's an extremely good card, and it's searchable through Tanky. And then we got triple Polix because he's searchable through Rhoda, plus he helps make cost live, and he's a pretty good card overall. And then we got triple Algidi because I wanted to make the level 4 engine as quick as possible, and I'm not playing the Sheratons, so I figured I might as well max out on him. And then yeah, he's not searchable except by this, but that's only from the graveyard, and if I played Sheraton I could add him, but I really wouldn't want to. So yeah, and then I play one Bear because I'm playing triple Tanky, so it's pretty much like playing 4 Tankies, which means cost is pretty much going to be live all the time, or I can add it to my deck to my hand, obviously. And I'm playing triple Sombre because this card's ridiculous. So, you go through all your cards and they have answers for them, and then you just summon Sombre and you get everything back for free, as in you get a bunch of advantage back anyways. He just says you banish one from your graveyard, one Constellar from your graveyard, and then you add a different Constellar, and then you can summon a different Constellar from your hand. So that's pretty good. And then I have Honest because all the Constellars are lights, so I have 12 targets plus him and Pleiades. so that's pretty good. And then we have double card car, because first turn this card's ridiculous since you can get a free +1 since you couldn't attack anyway, but you just can't special summon. But with card D, you definitely want to play it in decks that have hand traps or just a lot of traps in general. But yeah, I definitely like it in this deck, and I like it better than Sheraton, so that's why I have it in here. And then triple max Z, because fuck this format and how E-Dragons are ridiculous. Plus, I saw it did really good against the Lavals when I had 3 of them, but I ended up drawing each one off of the other one, so I always had a live one, which is always good. And yeah, then we got into spell cards. Then we got a Heavy Storm, because I like it. Get rid of your back row, sounds good. And then we got Rhoda, because it adds Pollux, and that's the only card I'm playing. I was contemplating putting in a DD Warrior Lady, but it's probably not going to be that live as often as I was hoping. Then we got Dark Hole, because I still like it, and as you can see, people are starting to play Dark Hole again, and guess who never stopped doing it? So, hipster DerpMcMuffin, of course. But yeah, Dark Hole, pretty good, I heard. Then we got Monster Reborn, because this card's ridiculous. And between Heavy Storm and Reborn, one of the two needs to get banned, in my opinion, because they're both ridiculous. But of course, I'd much rather see Heavy Storm get banned. But yeah, this card, just special summon a monster from either player's graveyard. That's pretty good. So, yeah, then the next card is Super Rebirth of the Constellars, because this card's ridiculous. I never actually got it off, which is surprising, but, if you end up in those grind games, this card can win you so many games, and yeah, it's pretty much a free Pleiades. So yeah, it just says you can add 2, or add 2 from your graveyard, and then you can't conduct your battle phase, which is a pretty decent, it's a pretty decent cost if you're like back and forth game. But if you can take the turn to add the cards back, it's really good. Plus this, plus Maxi, or plus, I'm sorry, Super Rebirth plus card D is very good. But yeah, then we got double Lance, because triple just gets really cloggy. Plus I can go into Omega whenever I want to with, either one of these plus cost. But yeah, this guy saves your Pleiades and other monsters. Especially when you're trying to make it, like you summon Pollux and they try to bottomless, you just activate Lance and they're very sad. So yeah, I like Lance, but I don't really want to max out on him. So then we play triple tanky, because it adds the cost and it adds the bear, and then bear can pop cards that are very problematic to you, and then cost can, make Pleiades. So that's good, which is the whole point of the deck. And then in the traps we got double bottomless, because I like double bottomless. I play it in like every deck. And then we got one torrential, because I wasn't even playing this card, but I realized that it usually helps more than it hurts, so I usually do use it. And yeah, I'm just using one because this deck likes to summon Pleiades and just sit on it. So if you have a torrential, that doesn't really help you out very much, because it doesn't protect anything, plus it'll destroy Pleiades. It's just kind of there, for those oh shit moments. Then we got double compulse, because I still like that in Constellars, even though Pleiades does Compulse's job, but you can't always make Pleiades immediately. So I have double compulse there for you when you can't make Pleiades. And then I have the Vanity Epiness. The whole thing revolves around this. Like, it's not what I mean. But the idea behind it is that I can make Pleiades, and then if Vanity's Epiness is going to be destroyed, I can just bounce it back with Pleiades, and yeah, they won't be able to stop it really. So then next turn I can set it again, and then just keep abusing it until they can't stop it anymore, and then they just can't special summon. And the idea behind it obviously is after you special summon your cards, you want to stop them from special summoning. Plus, if you're in a bad spot, you can activate this and then just try to beat people down with cost, or like any of the level 4s obviously, which is very good. And then we have triple Fiendish Chain, because it stops your opponent. Plus, if you think you're going to destroy the monster equipped to this, or if it's just sitting there dead, you can just make Pleiades, bounce it back to your hand, and reuse it for next turn, which is ridiculous. And then we got the 2 Solemns, because Solemn's really too good not to play. And I wasn't playing it at first, but I realized that I really need to, because you need a lot of traps in this deck, plus Judgment just says no to anything except for monster effects. But you got plenty to stop that. So yeah. And then the extra deck, I'm playing one guy, the Thunder Charger, because this plus Volcasaurus is extremely broken, but only for certain situations. Because Volcasaurus says that you can destroy one monster your opponent controls and inflict damage equal to its attack, but this card can't attack directly. But if you overlay Guy the Thunder Charger, you get to destroy their monster and then attack with 2600 directly, which is very good. And then we have double M7, because you can overlay it over top of your Omega or your Pleiades, and you get to add a card back from your graveyard, or bounce one of the cards off the field. You can't do it the turn you overlay with the Constellar, but it's okay because you can do it next turn, plus it puts some pressure on your opponent, which is always good. And then I'm playing a Terrace because sometimes you just have those moments where you need to get something off the board and Pleiades can't get rid of it. Or you're very scared because of their back row, but if you just summon Terrace, they can't destroy you, and the only thing they can really run into you is like a Dimensional Prisoner Compulse, which people are maining Compulses, but I don't know. This card's usually safer than Pleiades. But then we have triple Pleiades because that's the best card in this deck, and I love it. So yeah, then you can just summon this, bounce cards back to their hand, or bounce your own cards like Tanky back, which is something I didn't go into. If you like activate Tanky, add Bear, and then summon Pleiades, bounce back Tanky, you can reuse it next turn, and then yeah, you get to add another card, which is pretty good. And then Volcasaurus I explained. And then I'm playing a crazy box because if I do like a match, I want to side an Eradicator against some decks like Dark World and obviously Prophecies. But this card's actually pretty good, and it makes Eradicator alive for a lot of decks. So Eradicator is going to be banned eventually. I know it will because it's going to be ridiculous against formats, especially with how fast these formats are, and monsters and spells are ridiculous, and traps are just kind of there. But spell cards really help every deck. And if you get off a successful Eradicator and hitting like 3 cards with it, you realize how good it is. But yeah, then we got Omega because he pretty much, you can't target any, or you can't use any spell or traps against Constellars, which is very good because you can use that against like 5 back row, and as long as they don't have Warning or Judgment, you're good. And then we got Shockmaster because if you are playing game 1 against Prophecies and you have a way to make Shockmaster, you obviously want to. And there's not really any decks that like run level 4 that I wouldn't recommend running Shockmaster because that card is just so good against so many decks. And then we got Black Ship of Corn because I like that card. It just says no to like Reaper and Marshmallow and stupid shit you don't want to run into. And yeah, I like it better than Photon Pap just because it gets rid of it plus burns 1,000, and I can use it in different situations. But yeah, I know sometimes I really want to use Pap. Then I'm running 1 Paladin because you saw this card is extremely good because you just negate anything's effect and then attack over it, and then you get to draw a card when it's destroyed. So it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent and is really good. Plus its artwork is like amazing, so I always loved it. And then I have 1 Maestro because this card says fuck Evil Swarms, plus yeah, it's just really good if you need to be defensive or you just want to get rid of something that has less than 1800 defense. And then I just play 1 Zen Mains because it's very possible to make with like you know, doing your regular cost with Pollux or Algidi play, except you just go down 1 and then you just make a Zen Mains. It's not very plausible, but maybe sometimes you want to reborn somebody's level 3 and then you can do it. I just feel like you always need a level 3. I might take it out and put in Photon Popular Operative because that's a good card. And then side deck, just cards that I would run. I like them. Then I have Double Draw and Lockbird because fuck Prophecies. I really hate that deck. And then double MSD because there's some cards you need to get rid of. And I would always recommend siding this in game 2, I would say. And then triple deck lockdown, the idea behind this is you add all the cards you want to and then activate this and stop your opponent. And then if it's about to be destroyed, you just use Pleiades, add it back to your hand, reuse it. Like, that's pretty good, right? And then we got Eradicator because Crazy Box plus this is ridiculous. And then triple Imperial Iron Wall because fuck Elemental Dragon. Double Mind Drain because fuck Elemental Dragons. And double Soul Drain because fuck Mermails, fuck Dark Worlds, and yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, if you enjoyed, you can leave a like, and definitely leave me some just suggestions in the comments, because yeah, I love suggestions and I love comments, so there you go. And subscribe for more, and I'm out later, guys.